Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? How's it going, everybody? We are here live today, tonight, whenever you're listening, for the Guru Nation podcast. I'm your host, Spencer the Guru, here with my loyal co-host, Josh Como. What's up, man?
Not too much, man. Just ready to talk about some football again, man.
Yeah, because we're football year round around here. You know, we might at the end kind of touch on basketball just a little bit, give y'all a little tease. But yeah, we're sticking to football. We're back for the rest of the week. So y'all buckle up. We're gonna talk, of course, quarterbacks. The quarterback trends are still ever flowing, so we'll be touching on that as well as dynasty stocks today. Because with the free agency about to begin in a few weeks, this is the perfect time I feel like to go buy low on certain players if you're in a dynasty league.
Absolutely, man. You can get some really good players for some really cheap prices right now, and yeah, it might be a little bit of a risk because you kind of need some good things to happen for you. But I mean, that's literally what fantasy is all about. So I'm excited to talk about some of those players.
Yes, sir. And then we'll do that, and then maybe at the end a little basketball talk. I know most of y'all prefer football, so we'll start off with that, and that'll be the majority episode. So let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Hello, what's up, Guru Nation? Anyway, yeah, had a successful year, made the playoffs. Took home 3 titles, so I was really pleased about that. Guru Nation! Alrighty, we are back and ready to roll for the Guru Nation podcast here. We're just gonna go through it team by team, just kind of go through these depth charts and kind of mention some names that could be intriguing for Dynasty, and as well as because with quarterback stuff still very much alive as far as quarterbacks being on the move. So we'll start with Arizona though. No quarterback movement there. We know Kyler Murray's locked and loaded as their QB, and rightfully so. He had a great sophomore campaign. Hopefully he'll build upon that. So if you have him in Dynasty, obviously you know what to do. Lock him in for the next hopefully decade plus. Yep. And then this is what's intriguing to me though. The running back spot there, because Kenyon Drake, they don't have it by his name. I kind of wish they would add this feature, have a little FA there, because he's going to be a free agent, and that could set up a huge opportunity for Chase Edmonds to potentially take over that backfield.
Yeah, look, if Kenyon Drake goes somewhere, I do expect Arizona to possibly look at running back in the draft, because they do kind of have a middle to late pick in the first round, and there's some really good running backs that are going to be available. I don't know that they're going to take one, but I would imagine that if Kenyon Drake were to move on, they would look at one. So obviously we'd have to see if they were going to seriously draft one, or if they were going to try to beef up that defense a little bit more. I've seen reports that they might go with an offensive lineman, which I think would be great for them. I think that's what they should do. If they do that, if Chase Edmonds is the guy moving forward, absolutely snag that guy as much as you can. He'll be a very good fantasy option.
For sure, and I think I do have some concerns, though. I'm not saying to go give up a whole lot for Chase Edmonds. There's going to be a name or two coming up that I'm going to probably want to recommend a little more than Edmonds. Although in PPR, I'm pretty sold, because I feel like even if they draft somebody or sign somebody, like, you know, other than Drake, I feel like if Drake comes back, that's the worst case scenario for Edmonds. But I wouldn't think if they let Drake go, then to me, that's kind of a sign that they trust Edmonds to handle at least the majority of the work. But I definitely think then they'll either sign a cheap vet, you know, maybe like a Fournette or something to come in and split time with him, or they might draft somebody. It just seemed like to me they were still kind of thinking Drake was going to do like he did at the end of 2019, and that was an outlier. Like, he's just not that good. I mean, he's really not. So I think they'll just let him walk, move forward with Edmonds, and probably a rookie, I would think. It'd probably be Edmonds and a rookie, and Edmonds is done well on his limited touches, and so I think it could be kind of like an Austin Eckler situation. Will he be a true three down workhorse? No, but he'll definitely be somebody that in PPR is well worth drafting and has potential RB1 upside in that offense.
I tell you what, someone that's dropping a lot on boards and they could possibly snag him even in the second round would be someone like a Travis Etienne. And that would be very nice for that offense. He's a very explosive running back. That would be
Oh yeah,
very good
teasing
to
me
go
with these rookies. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would that now that could be something that could, if they take a high pick rookie like an ETN or Najee Harris, that would probably hurt Edmonds, especially ETN because he's got the good receiving skill set to go with it. We'll talk more about rookies in the
Right.
coming weeks. I'm really excited
But
about
if
that.
they don't do that, Chase Edmonds, you're looking at possibly a RB2 value.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I already started watching film, so yeah, I'm really excited about this rookie class, y'all. They've got it's very top heavy, I'd say, especially quarterback receivers. Yeah, y'all stay tuned for that. And then receivers here. I mean, it's basically Nuke Hopkins and a bunch of dudes. I mean, Larry Fitz will probably retire, you would think, but I think he's kind
Look
of
for Isabella. Look for Isabella to be a sneaky play next year.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, Isabella, I think, would be the one that could really step up because Christian Kirk, I don't trust. He's injury prone. He just hadn't really looked the part as their number two.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I think Isabella, assuming Fitzgerald retires, could be a nice buy low, and then you could get him for cheap. It's just Hopkins will be in the volume guy. It's like Isabella probably wouldn't be worth starting much. It may be like as a bye week fill in or something.
Yeah, he's definitely a stash and watch kind of guy.
For sure. Atlanta, man, that's a mess potentially, but it could end up pretty good. I feel like just looking at it, I feel like in just hearing like different dynasty players and stuff, I feel like Julio Jones is somebody. Yeah, he's injury prone. Yeah, he's over 30. He's getting old, but he's somebody I feel like still has an elite season or two left in the tank potentially. I mean, it's like, can he stay healthy though? We don't know, but I feel like he's somebody in dynasty. If you're in win now mode, he's somebody I could see adding to your squad because I mean you could add him and he has a huge year and all you give up is just like a draft pick or something like that could really boost you. I mean you could then be getting where you would have normally spend that draft pick on a rookie receiver who might take 2 or 3 years to pop off, or if you're in win now mode and you trade that pick for Julio, like that could potentially win you a title. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Julio, he's dropping because of his inconsistencies, whether it be missing time due to injury, whether it be because he gets double and triple teamed every game, and sometimes he just gets two
Ridley
catches.
emerging, I don't think he has to worry about that anymore.
But
that's another good thing. And while I mean Ridley, I like Ridley, but I feel like honestly for Dynasty, Julio is probably the better buy if you're looking to make a trade. I feel like Ridley at this point would probably be too overpriced.
Right, and so basically what's happening is Julio's dropping because of those things, and you're basically going to get a guy that may be a little inconsistent, but he'll give you wide receiver one upside every single week. So yes, if you can get him for a mid round pick, even maybe a third round pick, second round pick. Yeah, you're looking at some good value coming back to you. So I absolutely think you should do that. Pull the trigger if you can.
Yes, sir. Yep. And then Matt Ryan, we're assuming he'll stay put there, which would be good for the value of Julio and Ridley. I was thinking he might get traded, and there actually still is a chance of that with this crazy QB carousel. But I would think for now he'll stay. And then the running back situation is totally up for grabs. Hopefully, I think they'll sign somebody. Maybe they'll be the landing spot for Aaron Jones, and we'll get more to that when we get to Green Bay as far as where we think he'll go and who might potentially be a stud there in Green Bay. I think a lot of y'all know who I'm talking about. Just made a post on him on IG, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But before we do, we'll get through these next few teams. Baltimore, Buffalo, I don't really see a whole lot of changes in either of these offenses. Both teams were successful last season. Baltimore picked up down the stretch, and Buffalo had the great year with Josh Allen. So I don't really see much happening here. J.K. Dobbins, if you have him, you keep him. Same like Mark Andrews, too, I feel like. And then after that, there's really not much to like in Baltimore. And Lamar, it's like with the rushing, you kind of have to keep him. Josh Allen's a stud. The backfield's a little muddy, though, with Moss and Singletary. Neither guy emerges a workhorse. And then, obviously, Diggs a stud WR1. But behind Diggs, it's kind of murky. They're saying John Smokey Brown might be on his way out. And if so, I think Gabriel Davis could potentially step into a big role there in Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, look, them too, man. There's a lot of smoke with them possibly getting a running back in the late first round. Because look, here's the deal, man. They have a roster that's ready to win now, and they're maybe just a piece or two away from being over that hump. And a running back is kind of one of those spots. I do like Zach Moss a lot. I think he showed a little bit of promise when he was on the field, but he's dealing with injuries already. You don't like to see that out of your rookie running back.
Yeah.
So
He didn't take the bull by the horns. He had a chance. I mean, Singletary wasn't that good last year.
yeah, so I don't know if I would completely trust my roster to him. Look, there's a lot of smoke with J.J. Watt possibly going to Buffalo in the next coming weeks. So if they were to sign him, you can't expect for them to really go defense in the draft. So you're going to be looking at either a running back or possibly even a wide receiver probably at the end of the first round for them. And we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Right, yeah, Davis kind of a speculative thing. Kind of like, I feel like he's kind of like, he's touched on Isabella. I feel like he's similar to that, except more upside. Because if Brownlee, I feel like that could open up this WR2 slot. And if you put him in there, I think that could be really something
Cole
special.
Beasley looked really good with them last year.
Yeah,
So
yeah, he's I think he's still under contract, so he'll stay in his role, you know. But I mean, it's a high volume passing attack, so I mean, they're gonna need somebody to step up because they don't really use the tight end much in Buffalo, and they don't really throw to their backs all that much. So
yeah, I would expect Buffalo to go running back or wide receiver at the end of the first round. So we'll see what they do with that.
yeah, it should be very interesting. It could end up being fantasy gold, and what's a really good offense. And speaking of not fantasy gold, we got a couple of very suspect offenses here in Carolina and Chicago. Chicago more so than the Panthers, and it's just, man, what are the Panthers doing? We just don't know. I mean, their owner seems to be kind of panicking as far as quarterbacks. Teddy apparently is not happy. They don't really endorsing him. McCaffrey's been in potential Deshaun Watson trade rumors. I mean, and in the receiving core, I mean, Moore and Anderson solid, and with Joe Brady calling the shots. I mean, I feel like the offense could be good. It's just, I feel like it's too many moving parts. They're a team that if I have Carolina pieces, I mean, I'll probably hold them, but I'm not looking to trade for any Carolina pieces right now because I feel like it's just too much of a mystery.
Yeah, I mean, this roster could literally look just like this for the most part at the start
Yeah,
of
Mike
next season.
Davis is a free agent.
Or it could be completely different. And
I know,
so
yeah.
because
It's just we don't know. To me, they're just too like insecure or something.
Yeah,
I don't know the right word.
The only thing you can say is, look, if you have a chance to get Christian McCaffrey, you get him because even whether he stays in Carolina or whether he goes somewhere else, he's still going to be a top running back fantasy option. So you know that for sure. Everything else, you have to wait until the draft and the free agency is done with to kind of see what you want to do with that. But if it stays just like this, still get DJ Moore as a possible wide receiver 2 flex option. You can still you can look at Robbie Anderson, same price, and then Curry Samuel.
Yeah, he's a free agent. That's the thing. They've got a lot of moving parts. You know, it could be. I mean, if you're trying to swing a deal for CMC, somebody might see his name in those trade rumors and potentially panic, but I wouldn't count on it. I mean, Mike Davis, though, I mean, if he goes in the right spot, could be good. So we'll just have to see. That's the situation. I wouldn't. There's certain guys like I've mentioned that could be, like Edmonds that I feel fairly good about, but it's just because I feel like there's at least we know a little something with it. But it's like with this, it's just to me, it makes me nervous. I'm not really. But in Chicago, it was total dumpster fire. However, I feel like people are selling David Montgomery short. Like, he had a great stretch run, and I don't think that was a fluke last year. Like, I think he's the real deal. I mean, they finally started giving him the ball, and he was doing a lot with it. I feel like people still have a sour taste in their mouths from 2019. It's like, yo, I got to get over that. This guy's good. Like, quit disrespecting him. I know Cohen will be back, but Cohen's just this gadget player. It's a scat back. He's not somebody I don't think that's going to really interfere too much with Montgomery.
Well, we agree with that, but you do have to worry about that because whether or not we feel that Cohen is just a gadget player, the fact still remains that when he's on the field, he cuts into David Montgomery's carries and his touches, and it hurts. And so, yes, I'm hoping that next year it's full range David Montgomery. And if it is, he's a running back 1. The problem is we do have to wait and see if they're gonna give all the reins to Dave Montgomery like they should, or if they're gonna say, okay, Cohen's back and we always give him about 15 touches a game, so here you go, let's do it again. So hopefully they give him the full reins, but you do have to have that question mark in the back of your head that look, last time Cohen was fully healthy, he cuts into Dave Montgomery's touches. It is what it is. We all don't like it, but that's just how it is. That's just what they did. Now they have a new head coach, I believe.
No, it's still Nagy.
It's still Nagy.
It's still Nagy.
Oh shit! Never
Yeah,
mind.
that's what I'm saying.
As long as
That's
Nagy,
not good.
as long as Nagy
That's not good,
is at
yeah.
the helms, yeah, I'm not trusting that.
Yeah, and then they'll probably, I would think, franchise tag Allen Robinson. He probably won't be too happy. Who knows what the hell's going to happen here at
And they need to let him
quarterback.
go.
I mean, they just, I don't know, man. Next on that, do not buy in it. This guy could be okay, Cole Kmet, especially if they move on
Darnell
from Jimmy
Mooney, too.
Graham.
Look at him next year,
Yeah,
possibly.
yeah, possibly. Just don't go break the bank for anything to do with Chicago. You will regret it most likely. So yeah, Cincinnati and Cleveland here. I feel like are both. It's gonna sound crazy, but fairly stable for fantasy. Well, Cleveland more so than Cincinnati. I mean, well, I feel like though at least with you got Joe Burrow now. I mean, I know he got hurt at the end of last year, but I think Joe Burrow will be back and with the vengeance. Like I think he'll be really good next year. So like if you find a Joe Burrow owner that's kind of panicky about his knee injury, shoot, I'd go ahead and buy. I think this is the perfect time to buy Joey Burrow because I feel like he's just going to keep getting better and better. If it was an arm injury, I might be a little more concerned, but I mean, his knee, I mean, it might hurt his running a little bit early on, but he wasn't a big runner to begin with. So and then T. Higgins really good down the stretch. Like,
Tyler Boyd, man, that's the guy.
You think Boyd more so than Higgins? I mean,
absolutely.
Higgins, it's just with AJ Green almost certainly out the door. I feel like Higgins has the higher ceiling for sure.
No, man, that's his man. Tyler Boyd is a target machine.
I feel like Boyd is the Justin Jefferson in the offense, and Higgins is the Jamar Chase in the offense. Unless they would go ahead and draft Jamar Chase, which is possible. That one, then Higgins would come crashing down, but I just feel like, man, if they which I think they're going to go with the big left tackle from Oregon, and assuming they do that, I think Higgins is in a really good position. I think this is a time to go. I would go buy on Higgins right now. Boyd, I'm not so sure. I just feel like Boyd's ceiling's kind of limited, and then Joe Mixon, man, can he stay healthy? I don't know. That's what I don't know. I'm not trusting that. I would not want Joe Mixon in my Dynasty League, especially with the fact that they're going to want to throw a lot with Burrow. Zach Taylor, their coach, loves to air it out. I'm not a fan of Joe Mixon.
So, real quick, though, with T. Higgins, you'll be able to get him later in drafts. So, if you want to talk value, possibly. But as far as who's going to have more fantasy points by the end of the year, I don't even think it's going to be close. Tyler Boyd's going to he should have wildly more fantasy points than T. Higgins. He'll be a lot more consistent. When Joe was playing, I mean, that guy was a 20-point scorer weekly. I mean, he's those two have a crazy chemistry together already, and it's just going to keep growing. But look, there's a possibility they both could be very good fantasy wise. So that's why I do agree that if you'd rather go for Higgins because of value where you're going to draft him, then yeah, sure, go for Higgins all day. But man, Tyler Boyd's going to be a stud with Joe for a long time. As long as they both stay together and stay healthy, he's going to be a stud for a while.
I got you, yeah, especially in PPR. And Cleveland, honestly, there's not really much to talk about. To me, they're just kind of are what they are. They establish themselves as a run-first team. Chubb and Hunt both have value. Baker, I think, is a solid QB2 if in the right matchup. Could be, QB1 at a good stretch run. Jarvis should be solid. Odell will be back. It's just, I feel like Odell, he's an interesting case because I feel like, it could work, but I feel like in a way his return might in a way hurt the offense. It seemed like they did better down the stretch while he was out.
Absolutely hurts the offense.
It's just I feel like in a way maybe they trade him. I don't know. I don't really know what to expect with Odell. I have Chubb and Hunt. I'm holding Jarvis. I'm probably holding. Tight ends Hooper. Harrison Bryant has upside, but with these two still in the building, I just don't really trust it. And then with Odell back, I mean, it's a stable, like, real life offense, but for fantasy, minus the backfield, I can't really trust it. And then Jarvis, he's getting a little older, like, just yeah, I don't know. I'm fading the passing game. Like Baker's a good story and all, but I can't really endorse it. To me, with Stefanski, that's not going to be a very fantasy friendly passing attack.
Yeah, they need to get rid of Odell because Baker looked way better without him. The whole offense looked
Yeah,
way
it seemed
better
much
without
more
him.
efficient. Yeah,
So if they do that, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and where Odell lands could be interesting because if a healthy Odell could still produce. I mean, it's just. Yeah, he's kind of like Mixon's. Like, can he stay healthy? He's even a worse case than that. And then, oh man, Dallas and Denver, Lord, these are teams I don't even feel like talking about, man. I guess let's say a couple names I'd like to touch on though. Obviously, Dak, being a potential free agent. CD Lamb, he's somebody in Dynasty right now. He's getting a lot of hype, but you could probably still get him at a decent price. So if you're gonna try to go for CD. You got to try to get him now before he blows up.
Cooper,
I feel
Amari
like.
Cooper's still a top 10 wide receiver, so you still want to hang on to him.
Top 10?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. And that offense.
Amari Cooper's with Dak.
Well, I know that offense did do really good with Dak last year.
Amari even did well with the backup. Like he did well with Dalton. I mean, Amari Cooper's he's solid.
Yeah, man. I feel like he could actually, for our redraft folks listening, he could actually end up he'll be a better draft day value than CD because I can already tell the CD hype trains getting hype up. I'm going to name drop an analyst, my boy Smitty, the Fantasy Football Show. I see you, Smitty, already trying to hype the you-know-what out of CD Lamb. So, yeah, he might be one that, like, right now, though, with people, not as many people paying attention, like, you could probably still get him, though, at a pretty good price. So, if you're a year-long degenerate like us, try to get him now before his value becomes, like, ridiculous. Yeah. And then I know you mentioned before the show Jerry Jeudy with Denver. That's kind of interesting, but the only thing, Cortland Sutton will be back in that WR1 role.
Which will help Jeudy.
You think it'll help Jeudy?
Yes, I absolutely believe it'll help Jeudy. You're looking at if Cortland Sutton's on the field, you have to single coverage Jerry Jeudy now. And single covering Jerry Jeudy beat his man a wild amount of times this year, but the quarterback couldn't give him the ball. Now, granted, look, if Drew Lock is still the quarterback, then sure, yeah. I mean, Jerry Jeudy will be the same thing that he was this year. He'll be inconsistent. He'll have some good games. He'll have some not so good games. If they ever get a stud at quarterback, Jerry Jeudy, mark my words, will be one of the best fantasy wide receivers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it right here first.
Okay, yeah, it's possible. He showed us some flashes last year. Noah Fant, too. They've got weapons, so make it... there's been some speculation they could look to upgrade Drew Lock, and hopefully they do. I hope if you're in a dynasty, just don't mess with Drew Lock. Like, I feel like he's not.
How do you feel about Melvin Gordon? Because Melvin Gordon had some pretty good games this year. He really did. I think he outplayed what a lot of people's expectations.
Yeah, I mean, he was okay. He was okay. I don't know how to feel about that. He's getting older.
A lot of people thought he was going to be terrible this year. This guy had
he wasn't bad. I mean, I drafted him in some redraft leagues, and he did okay. I mean, he wasn't anything special, though, and that offense is still a work in progress. And by the time it gets really good, he'll be too old. So he's not someone I'd recommend for Dynasty. Zeke, though, assuming they bring Dak back, hold Zeke, y'all. Yeah. Don't panic trade him. Don't panic trade him. And Tony Pollard, don't go break the bank thinking Tony Pollard's going to take Zeke's job. I think that's still very much Zeke's job.
Right.
So let's see. Are we to Green Bay yet? Yes, here we are. Because I've been teasing y'all for those that kept listening. I appreciate it.
All right, let me help you out. Detroit sucks. Just get DeAndre Swift and don't worry about nobody else. All right, go ahead to Green Bay.
we could get the episode moving with that. Yeah.
Detroit is.
They're gonna eat kneecaps, and that's about it. And, AJ Dillon is the name that I'm sure all those that are like super into this dynasty stuff already know who. That's where I was going with that. That's because both of these guys are free agents, Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. And if one or both walks, then we already know who the bell cow is going to be. I personally think Jones will walk because he's going to command too much money per season. I think they'll bring back Williams for cheap though and have a 1-2 punch of Dillon and Jamal Williams. But I really feel like Dillon will end up the starter. He has the better skill set, especially on early downs. So and he's the better option near the goal line. So give me, I'm buying AJ Dillon stock right now if I can. Like this is the time to do it because with Aaron Jones still technically on the roster, like because the new league year hadn't started yet, people are kind of like, yeah, this Dillon, he could do good, but Aaron Jones, he'll be back, right? But I don't think Aaron Jones will be back. So get Dillon now because a lot of times people don't really want to. They don't want to believe it till they see it. A lot of times, where once they see Aaron Jones no longer on this depth chart, they're gonna be, oh my God, AJ Dillon, oh he's so good, he's gonna be a stud. They're gonna start the hype train. They're gonna start the damn hype train. I'm telling y'all, y'all gotta be ahead of the hype train. This is my theory on the fantasy hype train. You gotta, here's the hype, right? You're on the train tracks. You gotta go scoop the whatever you did, the hype. You gotta get off the track, and then the train's gonna come. Boom! If you're not ahead of it, you're not gonna get that player. Like if you don't get AJ Dillon now before the hype train comes, well, adios. You ain't getting him unless you're gonna go give up give up CMC or something for him or something stupid.
So. I wanted to let you get all that out because
I feel very strongly about this. AJ Dillon, I feel like probably the best dynasty buy right now.
So we're not going to completely agree on. I know we kind of talked about it before the show. We're not going to completely agree on this one. So first of all, I think Green Bay is stupid to let Aaron Jones walk. Aaron Jones has still proven to be a top 5 running back when he's on the field. I just don't think you give that up unless he's asking for way too much money. I'm not sure how much money he's going to be asking for.
Top 5? I don't know. Yeah, I think he's kind of a product of the system. Like, I mean, you got the MVP right here.
Whether or not he's a product of the system or not, he still puts up top 5 running back numbers. So I still have to say the guy plays like a top 5 running back. So if you let him go, unless he's asking for a crazy amount, unless he's asking for like Christian McCaffrey money,
which he is, I think.
If he is, then okay, sure, yeah, you let him walk. If he's not, then you keep him and you let Jamal Williams walk. But let's say they were to let Aaron Jones walk. I'll get to that scenario. So let's say Aaron Jones walks. Now you have Jamal Williams and AJ Dillon. I value Jamal Williams a little bit more than you do if he takes the reins of this offense, because when he came in this year for Aaron Jones, he looked really good. So I do think he's going to get first crack at the starting position. He's shown that he can catch the ball at the backfield. He can run the ball in that system. So I got to believe Jamal Williams is going to be the running back 1, and I got to believe that he's going to look very good to the point where they're going to split carries. I don't think A.J. Dillon's going to completely take over the reins this year. But, yes, for Dynasty, yeah, he's somebody you get and you hang on to him because he will eventually probably take over that. Now, granted, this year he'll probably get a lot of goal line touches, so he'll probably get a good amount of touchdowns, maybe about 6, 7, 8 touchdowns. And, yeah, he'll do decent on the yards, but all that stuff's going to probably go to Jamal Williams. So he's somebody you want to kind of hang on to. So I'm not completely on the train like you are, but if Aaron Jones leaves, then yeah, I'll hang on to the door and I'll see if I can.
You're just gonna have to try to hang on to the doors. I'm gonna be actually I'm gonna lead it. I'm gonna get in the front car. I'm gonna get going, and then once the train comes, I'll already be in front of the train. So the train can come. I'm rolling, baby. Like y'all ain't catching me. I already have my Dillon stock secured. But we'll see what happens there, and then of course, it's just, we know the drill. If you have
Devontae and everyone else,
it's exactly. So we're not even gonna worry about the rest of that. So
Houston, hey.
Oh, here we go. The shit show known as the Houston Texans, man.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, what a disaster. All I'm gonna say
Can
is
we skip Houston.
well, I just want to make one statement.
So
we can skip them. I just want to make one statement though. Deshaun Watson. If they don't trade Deshaun Watson, they're gonna lose 14 plus games because he's not gonna play.
They'll be the number 1 pick.
Yeah, he's not gonna play, and it's just gonna be super awkward. It's gonna be terrible. But if they finally, I think they're gonna eventually wise up and trade him. I feel like the owner can't be that stupid, right?
Oh,
can he? Is he really that stupid?
You are underestimating the stupidity of the ownership of Houston, my friend.
Oh,
because it's sure looking like they're that stupid. And
if that's the case, well then, all right, fine. And then I'm sure they got plenty of money.
And they'll have the number 1 pick for the next year.
But
that's what's gonna happen.
But why? Like, who? There's no Trevor Lawrence, I don't think, in next year's class. Like,
It
why
doesn't
would
matter
you?
to them. They're gonna pick a linebacker or something.
Well, they
with
yeah,
it.
they
Who
can
cares?
have
They're
fun with. They
stupid.
can beat the new Cleveland Browns, I guess. So
Yeah.
next on that, let's talk on the.
I hate Houston. Okay, God.
Yeah, they are
Free
garbage,
Deshaun
man.
Watson.
Yeah, hopefully they'll let Fuller go. Hopefully he can get a new
Him too,
start.
man. Let him go somewhere else.
Yeah, he's a free agent, so he's somebody that could monitor him, and could have, for Dynasty could be good if he lands in the right spot. The Colts, though, a new quarterback situation. Carson Wentz, they gave up. They gave up a few picks, so didn't really give up much. So I feel like it was a good value. It's just, what is he gonna bring to them? I don't really know. I mean, they have no weapons as of now. I'm sure they'll bring some in to help out the youngsters that they do have. Pittman and Campbell. Although Campbell's really yet to see the field. The dude's
Pittman
always
looks
hurt.
good, man.
But I mean, yeah, Pittman looks good. It's just T.Y.'s a free agent, and I don't really see why they'd want to bring him back. I mean, I know he did good down the stretch, and he's familiar with them, so I mean, he might, but they need to bring in, if they do, I'd say they need to bring in two guys, because I mean, or else it's just Carson Wentz is just gonna be Eagles 2.0. It's gonna be the same scenario where he's got a lack of weapons, and I mean, he's the kind of quarterback, he's not going to succeed unless he's got the deck stacked in his favor, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo. I feel like he's that kind of quarterback. He's really not that good, but if he's got the deck stacked in his favor, he'll put up some numbers, and you'll win some games with him.
Yeah, I mean, with Carson Wentz, it's interesting, man, because we're talking about a guy that looked really bad last year.
Oh,
but
horrendous.
We're also talking about a guy that took a dumpster fire of a team to the playoffs 2 years ago.
No,
And
and
then
it
we're
was a
also
dumpster fire of a team. He had a good supporting cast back then.
He was playing with guys that were eating Cheetos the week before. He was playing with free agents. They had nobody. Everybody was hurt.
Oh yeah, last year, yeah. The division was really bad, but
Right.
yeah, he was at least competent last year.
And so, and then you're also talking about a guy that not even 5 years ago was an MVP candidate. So like, it's a Jekyll and Hyde situation. We don't know what we're gonna see from him. I wish the best for him. I hope that he looks really good with that team, because if he does, they could possibly push the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. But if he doesn't, then yeah, it's going to be the same thing as Phil Rivers. They'll make the playoffs and they'll lose. So we'll see, man. He has a very good roster around him. You could argue this might be the best roster he's ever had around him. Probably better than even the best Eagles team that he had. So I don't know, man. I'm leaning more towards that he's going to have a pretty damn good season. I'm not going to lie. I would lean more towards that than him having a bad season.
Okay, yeah, so he could be, if you're looking to go the cheap route at quarterback, he could be okay. Then I tell you what, speaking of hype trains, y'all, Jonathan Taylor, that's a hype train that's full steam ahead.
If you missed out on it, you missed out.
Exactly, yeah, you're not getting him for cheap. Like,
No.
if you want him, you're gonna have to pay premium, and I don't do that. Like, that's one of my philosophies. You don't overpay, because you're gonna end up regretting it, and that's something that seems like a lot of these damn NFL real life GMs still don't understand. It's like they're willing, they go give up a crazy amount of assets for certain players, like the Stafford trade. I mean, maybe it'll work out for the Rams, but they gave up a lot of assets and a lot of draft capital. I mean, if you're ballsy like that though, and you need a RB1 like that, but you're gonna have, that's the thing, you're gonna have to pay top dollar, even for those in redraft. Like, I mean, you're gonna probably have to take Taylor as like either the 4th or 5th, maybe even 3rd overall pick, and that's just, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Hines is still there. Like, I mean, Mack, I'm sure will leave, but Hines is still very much there. That's just,
I mean, I've been seeing Jonathan Taylor go top 7 in redrafts. I mean,
higher than that. We did our very first mock draft Monday a couple weeks ago with Justin from Clock Management. Big shout out to him. Y'all go follow and subscribe to his stuff if y'all haven't already at Clock Management. But yeah, he went 3rd overall in our mock.
That's crazy.
And we specifically said this is redraft, not dynasty, like just for fun thing. And they're all in with Taylor, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, that's
nuts.
That's pretty wild. But he is very good. He'll still, in my rankings, he'll probably be top 8 in redraft, higher in dynasty. So I mean, he's still very good. So even if you do overpay for him, you're still gonna get value. I still believe he'll be a guy that'll put up about 20 points a game. He'll be an RB1. He'll still be very good. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, as far as stocks, like I mean, these teams, they don't really. It's not really much there. I mean, we kind of know what the deal is. We know that Jags are drafting Trevor Lawrence, and there's
Right.
going to be a lot of moving parts. So I wouldn't
DJ
go in.
Shark, man.
I wouldn't really trust anything there, honestly. Robinson might get supplanted. They might sign a big name receiver. They've got a lot of money to play
Watch for
with. I
DJ
just
Shark this year. I'm telling you. Watch.
okay,
That
okay.
man's gonna
Noted,
revive.
noted. Yeah, he could. I mean, with the generational talent like Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he
Trevor
very
Lawrence
well
has
could.
a big arm, and
Yeah.
DJ Lawrence has big speed. DJ Lawrence. DJ Shark has big speed. You watch for that combination.
Okay. Yeah, and then the Chiefs is just, I mean, Clyde, I still feel like Clyde's a little too high priced. Like, his stock didn't drop enough to justify a dynasty trade. And then, I mean, Mahomes, Hill, Kelsey are well established. If
Right.
they're not
Nothing's changing there.
they're not getting moved by their respective dynasty owner. So yeah, well, unless they lost a bet to you or something, you're not getting them. So yeah, the all right, Vegas and the Rams. Yeah, it's just, I mean, the Rams are pretty straightforward. I feel like they'll be a little better with Stafford. The Raiders, Derek Carr will probably stay. I hope they add a receiver. Aguilar's a free agent. Hopefully they can add a receiver. I mean, Jacobs. I mean, is there anybody you want to touch on? Maybe Henry Ruggs is a buy low, but he didn't really show much last year.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Ruggs' value should have dropped pretty significantly, so you might be able to get him pretty cheap.
Right.
I don't know what their
Yeah,
identity is.
they don't really
know what
have
they're
one. I mean,
doing,
it's a Gruden thing. It's just they kind of just do it on the fly.
Yeah,
It's not fantasy
I truly
friendly.
feel like one game it's all about Jacobs, and the next game it's all about the passing game, and I don't even think it matters if they're up or down. It just, I just don't know what they're doing. Like I don't know.
That's
I don't know.
next on that.
That's a rough organization, man.
I'm glad I'm not a Raiders fan. Ugh. And then is it Van Jefferson? If Reynolds, he's a free agent. If he walks, Van Jefferson could possibly do something. Everett's a free agent, could open it up for Higbee, but after last season, I want no part of Higbee. Left a bad taste in my mouth.
Way too overhyped last year.
Oh yeah, I fell for that one.
Cup and Woods will be really.
That's
good
one I
with
whiffed
Stafford.
on. So.
But remember that Cup and Woods will be stupid good with Stafford.
For sure. Yeah, they could be decent buys here. Justin Herbert. I don't know. I mean, I feel like this. I mean, I think he'll be good, but a sophomore slump possibly. I mean, he had an amazing rookie year. And with the new coach, I don't know. Herbert, yeah, for long-term dynasty, I like him. But for redraft, I'm not so sure.
I mean, it just all depends on where you can get him, man. If you're trying to draft this guy in the 8th round, yeah, you're setting yourself up for possibly a disappointment.
I think he's going to go higher than that, I feel like, in a lot of leagues.
Then that's crazy. Like,
yeah.
But that's what happens, man. These guys come in.
Yeah, these hype trains get going. Yep.
But if you can get him, look, if you have a smart league that doesn't draft quarterbacks like that till later, and you can get him in the 12th, 13th round when you've already established your starting lineup as far as running backs and wide receivers, and you got some good bench plays, then yeah, absolutely pull the trigger on Justin Herbert, because yeah, he still could be very good this year. Absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, and then Eckler should bounce back, especially for PPR. Here at the Miami, man, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they'll draft Jamar Chase, to help two out, or Devonta Smith, they have the Alabama connection. It's just not really much here. I mean, running back, they'll probably sign somebody, so I wouldn't really recommend to go get Gaskin, because I feel like they're going to end up replacing him. But if you have Gaskin, I think like he's worth holding, because in the chance they don't, sign or trade or draft somebody, he would be okay. But I can't really recommend him, honestly, just because I feel like if I had to predict, I think they're gonna upgrade there, because I mean he was pretty good. He did pretty well as the lead back last year, but not well enough to me. Not as well as like James Robinson.
They do have 2 first-round picks, but they're both. Like, of course, one of them is the number 3 pick, and then the second one is, like, in the middle of the first round. And I don't think they're going to take a running back there. They'd have to take him in the second round, or they'd have to sign somebody.
Yeah.
But I believe that they believe in Gaskin. Gaskin looked really good last year.
Okay, well, then he could potentially be a buy low at this point.
And to your point with Devontae Smith, they might not draft Devontae because he already came out and said he'd rather Mac Jones over Tua, so they're probably going to stay away from that. So they might go with.
I think Jamar Chase would be perfect.
Jamar,
yeah,
I agree. I think they should get Jamar Chase
for sure.
And I think they will. I think that'll be the pick.
Yep. Yep. And then let's see here. Oh, we're gonna skip this dumpster fire
Oh my
here.
God. Ugh, that's so gross.
And in Minnesota, we're just gonna. I'd say. Irv Smith. I'd say we're gonna almost skip them, but Irv Smith is a name that if you need a tight end in Dynasty, keep a close eye on Irv Smith Jr.
And same thing with Justin Jefferson that we said about Jonathan Taylor. If you missed out on the train, you missed it.
Yeah, you ain't getting him now.
It's
Yep.
over with.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Now our New
Nolans.
Orleans Saints, baby. Oh my gosh, this is where we're gonna clash because I feel like this. Drew, you need to hang it up. Jameis, you're not our quarterback. Go somewhere else. Taysom Hill, let's go.
So it's it's funny because right before we started,
A lot of y'all are thinking, what? It was Guru lost his mind. Like,
right
what
before
happened?
we started filming, a video dropped of Drew Brees putting in some work. And it's, man, it's almost looking like this guy's gonna come back for another year, man. And I don't know, man. Look, man, I don't know. I love the guy, and I want the best for him after football. I want him to retire. I think it needs to happen. But I know diehard Saints fans that have been Saints fans for a long time, they really want to see him win another ship. Which
He
is
ain't
fine.
winning another ship.
I agree. I know, but it is what it is, man. And but let's say he does retire. Let's talk about that, and let's assume he retires. Yeah, Jameis Winston needs to take over this team, and there needs to not even be a second glance at it.
I can't get on board with that.
We can talk about this for an hour and a half straight, but we're gonna disagree about it. Taysom Hill's not it. He's basically, like I said earlier, he's basically a glorified Tim Tebow, man. He just
the disrespect.
he can run. And look, I love Tim Tebow, but he can run the ball really well. He's a power runner, but he's just not an accurate thrower, and I don't see that changing unless a miracle happens. Like, the guy's 31 years old, and he's been in our system for a while. We've seen what we're gonna see from Taysom Hill. If we start Taysom Hill all year, we might win 8 games. Or not, maybe 9 if we're lucky. I just don't see it, especially with the roster we're probably going to have coming back after free agency because we're going to lose some guys. I just don't see Taysom Hill carrying us like to a decent playoff run. It's not going to happen. I don't see. I'll eat my words on that if I'm wrong, but I just don't. I don't. See
All right,
it.
yeah. To save the listeners' time, that's exactly how I feel about Jameis Winston. You know, I feel like if Jameis Winston gets brought back, yeah, we'll win some shootouts. You know, probably, but. Be lucky to win 8 games with him because I feel like he's going to lose you as many games as he's going to win you. That's just how I feel. From watching him with Tampa Bay, he's not a trustworthy quarterback. There's a reason last offseason why no one wanted this guy. There's a reason why he was sitting the bench last year, and that reason is because, yeah, he's got all the physical ability in the world as far as his arm, but he doesn't have the it factor. His intangibles are not there for an NFL quarterback. And I just feel like it'd be a disaster if you plugged him in as your quarterback. So as a Saints fan, I'm hoping and praying they don't. But if they do, well, just suck it up and roll, like they say. I mean, but for Dynasty though, I'm not.
Stay away from all of it.
I'm staying away from Jameis because he offers no rushing upside. Taysom, if it is Taysom, which a lot of people are saying it's Jameis, so I feel like. If you're in like we're talking a lot of these dynasty leagues where you keep your entire roster from last year, this is a good time to buy low on Taysom because if Breeze and Winston leave, you could get you a potential QB1 right now for dirt cheap because the Jalen Hurts thing, we'll get to him in a minute. That's another train that's taken off once they traded Wentz, you know. Or if you'd have been on that before they traded Wentz, you could have gotten him at a good price. I feel the same with Taysom Hill. I'm not promising you that Taysom Hill is going to be the Saints quarterback next year because we got Drew Brees, who's an insane person, thinking he could come back, and then Jameis is apparently loved by Sean Payton. So, but I still feel like the Taysom Hill and also Adam Troutman at tight end with Jared Cook. Likely out the door. Adam Troutman is a great buy right now because
Adam Troutman is the best buy on this team right now.
Oh,
the
for
best
sure.
buy low, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Because, Mike and Kamara are established, and the rest, the receiving core is kind of up for grabs between Traquan, Harris, Marquez Callaway. Don't really know who's going to get those targets.
Deontay Harris
Yeah, I think he's probably the one that's
second.
got the most upside out of that group.
Because he could explode.
He's electric. Yeah, he's electric. Yeah. Yep.
So let me just say, if Taysom Hill does start, fantasy wise, he'll be fine. So you can go out and get him for fantasy. Fantasy, he'll be fine. He'll put up at least 15 to 20 points a game.
Yep, and it also might be the fantasy owner in me as well, wanting him to be the Saints quarterback.
So I was talking about real life, but fantasy wise, yes, go out and if Taysom is announced a starter, go out and get him. I believe if Jameis is announced a starter, go out and get him too. I just feel like my last thing I'll say about that, I just feel like in our system with Sean Payton, as great as he is, he will find a way to limit Jameis's turnovers and he'll make him a more steady quarterback. He ain't gonna be perfect, but he'll be wildly better than what he was in Tampa. And that's it.
All right, there you go. All right, yeah, let's say I'll get my little closing statement in. I feel like he said about Sean Payton being an offensive genius. I feel like he'll, with Taysom, be able to mask his deficiencies as a passer and be able to maximize his rushing ability, and that the Saints, with him as quarterback, will have a winning record. So. Okay. You can quote me on that. All right, let's move on. I know some of y'all probably like, I'm sick of the Saints love. So I did that on purpose.
Oh, okay.
And we're also going to skip this other New York team because both of those teams I feel like just have. I mean, we know what the drill is with Saquon, and I mean, I feel like there's not really anything else I like on the Giants. I mean, unless there's somebody you wanted to mention, but I mean, to me it was just it's just blah. Evan Ingram,
Daniel
Slayton,
blah. I mean, it's just. Daniel Jones will be a top 3 quarterback this year.
All right, cool. Go. All right, yeah. Let's write this down. Josh said, Daniel. All right.
I do believe he'll either come back strong this year or he'll get cut. So one of those two things are going to happen for him, and I really hope he comes back strong.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll touch on one thing with the Jets, and that's Sam Darnold. It'll be interesting to see where he goes because I think he'll be out the door. New regimes mean new quarterbacks most of the time, so I think he'll
possibly. I still 49ers.
think it. Possibly. I still think that the Jets Watson thing could very well happen, and I think there's a good chance Darnold, if it will be part of that package.
It better happen before the draft.
But with the Texans being so stupid, who knows? So the Eagles, I mean, the Jalen Hurts hype train's taken off, and so I'm not gonna chase it. Like, I like Jalen Hurts for fantasy, but if you don't have him, don't go chasing him because there's still a chance they could bring in another quarterback to push him. I mean, he's not guaranteed to be their starter. Right. I mean, this get Nate some snaps. Sudfeld is a free agent. I don't know. And Doug Peterson's gone. So they're not going to – Doug Peterson won't be able to lobby for them to make Nate Sudfeld the starting quarterback. Right. So he'll – I don't know who they're going to bring in to complement Hurts. I mean, they're going to probably bring in some sort of veteran, maybe a Fitzmagic type to push in. I was just about to say
Fitzmagic.
I mean, awesome. I mean, Hurts is not guaranteed to start. So for anyone that, like, went all in with Hurts in Dynasty, like, I hate to break it to you, but you might end up needing another quarterback for this season. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's just – I'm not sold. Like, at this point, Taysom Hill's a much better value because, I mean, it's just you don't know what's going to happen. It hurts. I mean, yeah, he's projected to start, but shoot, it's freaking February. That could easily change.
Yep.
So and then the receiving core is still a joke. I mean, it's like they got nothing there at receiver. I mean, other than Rager, tight end, Goddard, but I mean, Ertz is likely gone. Sanders, Miles Sanders, I don't know how to feel about him. I really don't. Like, I think he could be okay, but I feel like this could be his breakout, being his third season. He could break out, or he could, be the next Joe Mixon and just be an injury-prone bust. I mean, don't know what's going to happen. If he can stay on the
field, he'll be at least an RB2. He looked pretty good with Jalen Hurts, but you got to worry about injuries. So,
exactly. I just don't really trust him. He's somebody, I'm not saying he's going to end up the next Joe Mixon, but I feel like he might, though. I hate to say that because I feel like he's somebody that he's loved amongst the fantasy community. Like, the community seems to love Joe Mixon. They seem to love Miles Sanders, which is coming in as a rookie, he wasn't really that loved. Like, I remember I was in on him as a rookie, but then he had that nice rookie, and then everyone else started buying it. Like DeAndre Swift, the same thing this year. I know everyone's hyping up DeAndre Swift. It's like, really? Like, now y'all going to make his ADP way too high. It's just... It's just, man, it's just so much. I hope
That's
I
fancy.
hope y'all stay tuned in with us, cause I mean, cause we try to make sense of this stuff. I feel like some of these channels they just do it for the clout, cause I mean, I feel like some of these so called analysts are just. I'll just be real, are morons. Like, and I'm not saying we know it all. I mean, I think yeah,
Right.
we're the Spencer the Guru and the Guru Nation Network, which I mean, we do our best, but part of the reason I feel like why we're good is because we know that we don't know it all. We know that we're dumb in a lot of ways. I feel like that's a big key to success, knowing that you don't know it all.
Yeah. But this is
um,
the social media age of fantasy where everyone's making videos about everything. You know how many mock drafts
yeah.
I've done seen already from the
Oh, it's
NFL mock draft?
unbelievable.
It's
It's
ridiculous.
unbelievable what's happening with
So
this.
that's
It's
just
just it's getting crazy. So that's why I say y'all trust the process. Trust the process.
yeah.
And with that, we'll
I'll say this for any decent name on this entire list, you're gonna see a video of people that love him and people that hate him. So
exactly. Yeah. So
do with that
make
information what you will.
exactly. Yeah. At the end of the day, you gotta get your guys and go form your own opinions. And
Yep.
I think that might be a good way to wrap this thing up because I mean, honestly,
The
these
rest
next
of
few.
it's kind of
I mean,
yeah.
there's really. I mean, Pittsburgh, the 49ers, Seattle, Tampa, Tennessee, Washington. I mean, none of these teams really have a whole lot of players that I'm like
The only thing about
wanting to like
Washington
for
is
dynasty.
watch for who they get at quarterback because Terry could blow up if they get somebody competent or somebody pretty good that are. I like Alex Smith, but I mean, Alex Smith isn't going to push the ball down the field
Right.
all game.
Yeah. Hopefully they
get somebody.
upgrade.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
I still think they should give Tyler Haneke a shot, but hey, that's just me.
Man, I mean, he could. I just feel like it'd be like Minshew 2.0 if so. I mean, it'd be a good story. It'd be a cult figure,
Which is fine. I just want him to give him a shot. I feel like he earned that. He earned a shot. If they want to do away with it 3-4 games in, hey, that's fine. Do away with it. But I feel like he at least deserves a chance. Just to see what he's got. What can they lose? I mean, come on, it's Washington.
They could lose the NFC.
They gonna lose their name again? Like what?
Yeah, they'll just beat the football
Yeah,
team.
the
They'll lose them.
might as well be. But yeah,
But all right, before we sign off, let's address this Russell Wilson stuff because I feel like it's getting blown way out of proportion. I feel like people are losing their shit over where's Russell Wilson gonna go? Oh my God, he named 4 teams. One of them's the Saints. Like especially I guess from being from Saints country where we're from, like everyone's like losing it, thinking we might get Russell Wilson. But I feel like people are really just living in a fantasy. I don't even know what's a fantasy island. It's like a fantasy, just like I don't know, fantasy. They're just like floating in the ocean, just like in La La Land, just like totally nuts. Like just
yeah.
it's like they have no idea about the cap or anything. It's like yeah, it sounds good in theory, but how are we gonna afford that? And then if you do get him, you're gonna have to give up so much. It's like it won't even be worth it. I don't feel like you'd have to give up veteran players, draft picks, and he did his bloated salary, which I mean, his salary's justified being that he's an elite quarterback, but he's not going anywhere. It's just a negotiating ploy. I feel like for him to try to. I think he mentioned that before the show, like to try to upgrade, like he's trying to make a statement so they upgrade his supporting cast. I definitely kind of like Aaron Rodgers. I think he saw what Aaron Rodgers did and following that same route. I don't see him going anywhere.
Yeah, it doesn't look good. I will say that, and it doesn't look good for their relationship going forward. But yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he'll.
Yeah, at least not this year. I mean, for Dynasty, I wouldn't expect him to be a Seahawk for life, which is good though. I mean, which I'm kind of glad because I mean I could maybe tolerate one more year of him with Pete Carroll, but hopefully then they can trade him at that point. But
Right.
I don't know. I mean, if they go all the way. Then they'll probably obviously keep him, but I don't think they're going anywhere with what they've got currently. And I think that's what he sees. He sees the handwriting on the wall, so he's hoping, obviously he wouldn't like be against the trade per se, but I think he knows they're not going anywhere this year. Yeah, they might make the playoffs, but they're not a real Super Bowl contender with their current roster. Right. But he's also not going to pull a Watson and force it, and the reason I think Watson's doing that is because the team itself is just so bad. Like, I mean, at least Seattle's still a competitive team.
Right.
Yep. And then, think that's about it, y'all. I mean, there's not really anybody else. I mean, that's really. I mean, the Niners will be getting people back. That'll be cool to see, and it might have a new quarterback. But we'll be breaking this down more. So, and then getting in the redraft here in the next few months. I mean, it's not anywhere close to redraft season yet, but we'll get there. It'll be here before we know it, and we'll be talking rookies here soon. And I guess to wrap it up, the NBA. I know I tease the NBA, but I know a lot of y'all aren't huge NBA fans. But for those of y'all that are listening, I'm sure a lot of y'all like the Pels. So, what are your thoughts on the Pels, Josh?
I mean, they're pretty much what I thought they were going to be. They're very inconsistent. We have a head coach that's kind of stuck in his old ways. The last time he coached, he was very successful at what he did, but he hasn't really changed his game plan. But the league has changed around him, and we're seeing a lot of inconsistent play from our young guys, and Zion's a beast. Brandon Ingram's a beast. So
yeah, I was about to say, let's pull up their chart.
We're not gonna really make too much noise this year, but I mean, we just got to keep building, man. Got to keep working. That's all we can do.
Yeah, because the NBA, I feel like all about building blocks, and you've got a great pair here in Zion and Ingram.
Very good.
But pair. I feel like the rest, I don't really see any of these guys. Maybe Kyra Lewis and no, they call it Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I feel like could potentially be the backcourt of the future. But
I know one thing we need to get rid of Eric Bledsoe.
Right, but there's really no other pieces that I think. I mean, Ball. We need to trade Lonzo. Need to trade Bledsoe. Might as well trade Redick, too, while you're at it. Josh Hart, I like, but is he really a part of the long-term plans? I don't know. Melly's up and down. Adams isn't the long-term fix. I mean, so just kind of, just ride, trust in the process. Not going to go anywhere this year. Just got to maybe get in those play-in games and see what you can do. And because they're better than a lottery team, but not anywhere close.
We're stuck in the middle right now.
Yeah, I know it's annoying, but just gotta say trust the process.
Yeah.
And for those fantasy basketball players out there, man, I don't know if you noticed in our league, I've been making a little push.
I have not.
I know you're sitting pretty at the top.
Yeah. It's me and that other guy, man. And
oh, that dude's tough. Yeah, Alex Gonzalez, man, his team is stacked, man. Shout out to him if he's listening, man. That's a hell of a squad. Yeah, we're gonna. But my squad's on the come up, man. I've got the second.
Gave him LaMelo Ball like an idiot. I dropped him. That's gonna come back to bite me at the end of the year. I already know it.
For sure. Yeah, you've got a lot of rookies, I noticed. I mean, my team's probably a little more veteran heavy, but I finally got my squad back. I got Karl Anthony Towns, Paul George, Jason Tatum finally all back in tow. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I have two rookies now, but I kept dropping him. I kept dropping Anthony Edwards and picking him back up because he was playing consistent, but now he's been playing a lot more consistent. And then someone dropped James Wiseman, and I was like, okay. So I put him on my IR, and now he's back.
Man, I need to keep up closer. Man, I would have scooped him up.
That guy is really good, man. I don't know why he was dropped at all. I kind of feel like that was my makeup for LaMelo Ball. He ain't gonna be as good as LaMelo in fantasy, but he's pretty damn good and pretty consistent. So that kind of made me feel better about what happened with LaMelo. So sure. I'm pretty excited about my team, man. Steph is a dog. He's just carrying the team.
That was great getting him in the first.
Who was it that put up over 100? Joel Embiid put up over 100 points
against me. Although you know what's insane about that? I had Jamal Murray. Clap back with 90.
Really?
So, yes.
Wow.
So I was like,
that was very
I think those
fortunate.
are literally the two highest scoring games of anyone for the season.
Wow.
Both happened on the same night.
That was very
Joel
fortunate
Embiid and
for
Jamal Murray. I think they both dropped over 50 real life points, and then for fantasy, you get all the the assists and all that junk added in. So for fantasy, they both had an insane amount of points. So I was like, thank you, Murray. If it wasn't for him, I probably would have lost because it ended up being really close. Because it's hard to overcome when someone has a week like that.
That he did that. Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
For sure. Yeah, Jamal Murray, huge shout out to him. He's been balling out lately. I mentioned those three. He was my fourth pick, and he was off to kind of a slow start, but he's really picked it up lately. Him and Jokic, that's a Denver, y'all. Don't sleep on the Nugs, man. They might knock the Jazz out come semis. Everyone's hyping up the Jazz, but don't sleep on Denver.
Yeah, you got to steal picking him that late. I was going to pick him. I remember being actively mad that you picked him when you did because I should have picked him with my third, and I regretted it.
For sure. And if one quick tip before we sign off, y'all, for those that need a center it's funny that they're next to the Pels and Knicks. Normally I say don't recommend Knicks, but Nerlens Noel, y'all, with a former, well, was a former Pelican, then got traded on the night of the draft. But he, former Kentucky big man, not like didn't really live up to the hype. Kind of a post hype guy. Mitchell Robinson, though, their starting center is out for the foreseeable future, next 4 to 6 weeks, I believe. And I picked up Nerlens. He's been hooping and getting minutes. With Robinson out, Nerlens has been getting the minutes. Not many centers get a lot of minutes these days, and he's been producing. So for those that are in need of a center,
speaking of the
Nerlens Noel,
I got Julius Nut boy right there.
Ooh, yeah, he is very good. Yeah,
stupid, bro.
Yep. And RJ's been pretty good. Actually, that's crazy. I have 2 Knicks on my team. What is happening? Maybe the Knicks are actually going places. I mean, because RJ's been a little up and down, but he's not bad.
Fantasy basketball, that's where it's different than fantasy football, man. You can have someone on the worst team in the league. That's just, it don't matter. It don't matter to the worst team in the league. Basketball, they can put up.
Yeah, it's a different
numbers.
animal.
Yep.
It's a different animal.
They can put up monster numbers, and they will still suck. Like, their team will still suck, but it doesn't matter because they can still. I mean, look at Zach LaVine. The Bulls suck. Zach LaVine's a monster in fantasy.
Carl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I mean, there's countless numbers of players like that in the NBA. So,
yeah. Well, good deal. All right, well, that's going to wrap this one up, I'd see. Really appreciate everyone that tuned in. It was a good time. We'll didn't mean to do that. All right, we'll leave the NBA up for y'all, for those that can soak in this Pels depth chart.
Pelicans roster.
Yeah, I'd say not too exciting, but shoot, we're building. Y'all trust the process. So
building.
Yeah, we hope. Yeah, we hope. Fingers crossed. We hope it leads us somewhere. So all right, y'all. Appreciate everyone that tuned in. We out.